What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Girl You Know What podcast, season 5. Oh, I think this is episode 14, girl. I can't even remember. But anyway, I'm Danielle.
And I'm Keisha.
Girl, so how you been?
Look at what the Lord has done.
I mean, just bringing back the children and everything. Look at that.
Child. Right at the height of election
Girl,
season.
we had to, it was just like, so let me just break down why, I'm going to say my part, So, we took like a week off. And then, something came up, I think the following week for me. And then I was just like, something happened at work, just like where I was just like overwhelmed. I don't know if I had to work like that weekend or over. It was just like a lot going on.
And I was going to say it's a mental health break.
Yeah.
The mental health breaks that people talk about, we took one.
We took one. Yeah, because it was so much.
To be done.
Yeah. It was just so much just happening at once. And I was just like, I can't focus on this and everything I got going on.
I mean, I know my child was going to college.
Yeah.
Like, it was a lot.
Girl.
It was a lot of transition going on in everybody's life.
Yeah.
Honey, and I was crying, and
girls, I think we missed.
My baby was gone.
Yeah, because we missed her. I think her not her homecoming. I'm sorry, Lord have mercy, her prom. I think we definitely missed her graduation. I know we weren't recording around that time, and then the baby's gone, honey. She is gone. She is away at school.
And if you talk about somebody who is stressed.
But these updates you give me life, though. They are turning your baby out at that HBCU.
They turn her out, ain't they? I was like, first of all, who are you talking to?
Number one.
And second of all, what you talking about?
Right.
You need some bundles.
Girl, I hollered. I was like, not the baby. Not
the baby with the natural hair, with the blowout, who was going to high school. I'm just going to wear my hair natural. I'm just going to put my hair in a puff. You done got down and you want a bundle bust down.
Listen,
like, what's happening?
Right.
But, her grades are good. So
that's good.
I just, but I will say she's very homesick.
Yeah, definitely.
To be completely honest, she is homesick to the point where she is considering coming either back home to go to Central State University, or she was talking about going to Alabama A&M.
Because you got family down there, right?
Something about it, she is not necessarily comfortable yet.
Right.
So I FaceTime her as much as possible. I get so many texts from her like, I miss you. I miss you. And her little emotions she's going through.
Yeah.
One time she'll say, I miss you, and it'll have a mad face. Another time it'll be like, I miss you, and it's a sad face. And I'm like, what's wrong?
Right.
I just don't feel like we talk enough. And I'm like, girl, what? Who are
she
you?
Going through it. She going through the motions.
You're going through it, honey.
Honey.
I knew it was going to be, I knew. Because you never know how close you are with the person until the person is not with you.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I didn't go to school as far as she did. My grandmother lived 30 minutes from Central State University.
Right.
So she wasn't here having it. Her and my godmother was at the school every weekend. She's hours away from us.
Right.
I have every intention on truthfully moving to Birmingham. So, me and my sister had made this pact, like, when we turn 45, if we're not married, we going back because
Mm-hmm.
it was the most enjoyable experience, I would have to say, that I've had. And I loved it because the weather, just everything was beautiful. So if she decides to go to Alabama and A&M, I'm not going to object to that because
Right.
I will be an hour away from her.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, she's definitely going through it, but
Oh
she's
yeah.
growing up,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
because
that too.
she's been so sheltered. And we have to
Mm-hmm.
remember that baby's still 17. She ain't even 18
Yeah.
yet.
She's not even 18 yet. So
No,
yes,
she won't be
yeah.
18 till January. So she still
Mm-hmm.
has some months to go
Yeah.
before she turns 18.
So
So
she's doing a lot, at a very young age, accomplished so much.
yeah,
So it's a lot, So
yeah.
I totally get it. And next year she may come back and be like, well, I'm going back. And you just don't know.
Right,
You don't know.
right,
So yeah.
right.
Well, we'll just hope and pray for the best, and they don't turn our baby out too much. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Because we don't want to
Well,
have to take no trip down there. We don't have to. I mean, I'm all for a road
listen,
trip, but at least we
God
have.
forbid.
Listen,
Baby, because I am the definition of knock all this shit over.
basically.
We don't have time for that.
Uh-uh.
We can't get locked up in a southern state.
Right. Especially in these times, girl.
These are trying times we live in.
Listen. So let's just get right on into it. So speaking of which, it's been so.
I
I
know,
mean,
you need a deep breath. It is,
yeah.
at this point, it is so overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
We almost didn't want to just we was gonna go into the new year.
Yeah, we were just going to wait until season 6 and be like, we're just going to chalk it up because it's too much. Because it was just something seriously, not every week coming up, not every day, like every other hour was something new developing that
like,
we were just like, what the hell?
what type of behavior is this?
Girl, so let's just start off. We'll save the pièce de resistance for the end, Diddy. We'll save him for the end.
Oh Lord.
Because we got to talk about Diddy. But
Yeah, absolutely.
But
Yeah.
okay, so let's just talk about the election because we're 3 weeks away from the election. And I want to say this before we get into anything, and you can
Mm-hmm.
piggyback off this. Of course, you know how we
Mm-hmm.
do. Black men and some black women,
Oh my God.
y'all are pathetic. I'm just going to say it because, and what really got me was yesterday when I was watching a clip from Mark Lamont Hill. I don't know if it was his show or not, but he had Candace Owens, somebody else. I can't even remember because they weren't saying nothing during this clip. And it may not even been his show, but it was Mark Lamont Hill, Candace Owens, and Lord Jamar from Brand Nubian. He was, Lord Jamar is he's one of those like people who, to me, he's confused. As old as his ass is, it's like he wants to get with the times, but he's still in that,
Mm-hmm.
7%, that 7%,
What is
the
it, 5%ers?
5%ers. I'm
What are
sorry, shit. 5%ers, all that stuff
they?
to
Mm-hmm.
where because he used to speak so badly about gay people until in which we see a lot of this until somebody in his family that was very close to him, I don't know if it was a nephew or a niece, somebody that was very close to him came out and said that they were gay. Then he
Right.
started wanting to understand it and all this other stuff. Fine, I'm all for that. Do what you want to do.
Right.
Feel how you want to feel. If you don't agree, whatever. I don't
Right.
care. But that's one thing. And then I saw a clip of him a couple weeks ago, and I love Brand Nubian. We old school hip hop right here,
Right.
So, and I'm saying all this to lead up to what happened yesterday or whenever.
Okay.
But so a couple weeks ago, this has been a long time rumor that there's been a transgender woman that has been in all these hip hop videos that's supposed to be like part of the quote unquote agenda, which I'm so tired of hearing about that. Where there was a
Are
transgender.
they talking about the girl from Juicy?
Yeah, first of
Not
all,
Juicy, but
yeah, no,
what is
she
that?
was in Juicy.
Yeah, I know
And
you're talking about.
yeah, and she
Yeah.
was also supposedly who LL was talking about in the beginning of
Oh yeah, because that was her. That was the same girl.
yeah, it was the same girl,
Yeah.
and he was
Yeah.
saying his ad lib, and that was at he she. That's
Yeah,
but
I
he
remember.
yeah
Did she? Yeah.
yeah, and LL Cool J for years has been saying that was just an ad lib. The
Right.
woman has come out and been like, I'm a natural born woman. I'm not a transgender woman. Like I was
Yeah.
born a woman.
You can tell she was a woman. She was just hard on the eyes. That's it.
Exactly. That's it.
I
So
mean,
yeah, so years later, 20 some years later, Lord Jamar is still spewing. He talked about that in a because they were asking him about the Diddy stuff and all this other things, whatever, and he just went in and was talking about this, and even the interviewer was like, "Well, that lady has come out and said that she's not a transgender woman." LL Cool J has said that he wasn't saying he she like that's a he she. It was just an ad lib.
right,
It
right.
was just something that he was trying out and it went along with the beat, whatever he said, something like that. Lord
If you
Jamar,
know LL, if you just know hip hop,
right,
you know these people are exhausting. Hold on,
very.
it's exhausting. It's
It
exhausting.
is. So this was just a couple weeks ago. He was talking about that. And even the interviewer was like, "Well, that's not true." And Lord Jamar was just sticking to it. It was just like. So
Because
then
they will get on a hill and die there.
die
They're
there.
not getting off.
No, no, no. And that's where people talk about the homophobia comes in. And let me just say this. Homophobia is not you being scared of gay people. So people use that all the time, like, I ain't scared of no gay. It's not about that.
Right.
We know phobia is a fear, but it's not a fear of being scared of gay people. It's a fear of what you don't know and what you
Right.
don't understand. That's what the homophobia comes in at.
Right.
So very homophobic when he just keeps bringing that up and spewing that and everything like that. So then he's on this interview a couple of days ago or yesterday, whatever, and he is going in on Kamala Harris. Support who you want to support. I'm not surprised that you're a Trump supporter or whatever. He didn't directly say he's a Trump supporter, but he basically was leaning that way.
Right.
He called Kamala Harris a bitch in the interview.
Well, I believe it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been having a ongoing discussion
Mm-hmm.
with a black man that I
Mm-hmm.
went to university with. Now we're talking about a black man who went to an HBCU with me,
Right.
and he has discouraging things to say about Obama,
Mm-hmm.
about um, Kamala, and and we had this, he fell out with me a little bit for a few weeks.
Right. Come on, a
We're
few
friends.
weeks.
We're
Okay.
we're friends again, and I love him. I can tell him I can have a difference of opinion with people,
Exactly.
but see, when you speak clearly and you challenge people on their thoughts, they get very upset
Mm-hmm. Especially if they're
because
not comfortable in their thoughts.
and a lot of these men who are so aggravated with her or challenged by the fact that a black woman is going to be president are the same men who post stuff about a woman being in her place and a woman
Mm-hmm.
doing this and a woman doing that. So they don't like the idea
Right.
of that she is the quote unquote strong black woman that they hate.
Mm-hmm.
This idea that men or black men, I should say, have of a strong black woman,
Yeah.
it is her. She is the thing that they are really afraid of. Cause oh, now we ain't gonna be able to tell you bitches shit. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be a lot of that.
Oh yeah.
That's what they're really afraid of.
Mm-hmm.
They're not afraid of her. They
Right.
don't hate her.
Mm-hmm.
They hate what she may represent in the black women that they're trying to date.
Yeah.
Her being president pushes a woman's ability to say, I can do anything, I can be anything, I don't have to take this. Like they are afraid of that.
Right.
They're afraid of the mindset of other black women changing when they see a black woman excel and propel to the highest office in the land.
Yeah.
That's what they're really afraid of. They don't yeah, they might have an issue with her, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then they have an issue with her because she has a white husband.
Yes. Because your boy, Dr. Umar Johnson, was on there going on about that. But we know how he feels about interracial relationships.
Oh, yeah, he don't care.
So he don't care who it. Yeah. That's why I was like, y'all surprised that he's going in on that?
Listen, I don't necessarily agree with it either. Mm-hmm. But let me say this. I understand why black women, because I'm a black woman who dates men.
Right.
I understand why black women, and especially those black women, have white husbands. Because white men adore black women. The way that we wish black men treated us, that is how those black women are being treated by those white men. Ketanji Jackson's husband got on national TV and couldn't control the admiration that he felt for his wife and
Listen.
began to cry actual tears
Mm-hmm.
about how proud he was of
I
her
remember
and
that.
how successful she was. And he knew that she was going to be at the place and be the thing that she is. That man was actually crying. But black men, I'm about to take up for y'all because it just popped in my head.
Mm-hmm.
We know that you have been ridiculed and criticized for expressing emotion.
Yes.
And you haven't grown up in homes where you've been given the liberty to express emotions. You have been treated like workhorses your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
All you know how to do is work and provide, work and provide.
Right.
Black people live in a constant struggle. So I understand that sometimes y'all don't know how to show up and support your woman.
Right.
You don't know what it looks like. You don't know what it feels like because a lot of people didn't grow up in that kind of home.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't know what it looks like for a man to kind of adore his wife.
Right.
Not
Definitely.
all black people grew up like that, but a lot of men. I have recently had some men say to me, like, listen, I didn't grow up like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know what that looked like to see a man buy a woman flowers and a man to love on his woman and do this stuff for his woman because I didn't grow up in that kind of household. Now, the person's father didn't beat on his mother or anything like that, but his mother didn't want to receive that love from the father. So he doesn't know, and I know it's a lot of black men out there like that.
Oh yeah.
There's some who just didn't have a daddy present.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all don't know how to show up for black women.
Right.
But y'all be the same ones who be wanting to date black women
Mm-hmm.
and tell black women what to do. Baby, you can't have it both ways.
No.
Either you're going to get with somebody and you're going to learn how she wants to be treated, or you're going to be by yourself and you're going to be on these podcasts and you're going to get on these places and dog black women.
Mm-hmm.
And all you're doing is making other black women stay away from you.
That's it.
That's all you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
There's no resolve in that. So, no, I'm not surprised because it be some of the hoodest niggas who claim to be the hoodest
Mm-hmm.
who out here dogging Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
It's them. Like the because this is what I keep hearing from the real street niggas. Now the real street niggas say when the Republicans is all in office, the money don't be dried up. Like the money is flowing.
I got something to say about that, but go ahead.
But this is because y'all don't really understand politics.
Thank you. That's all that needs to be said.
Doing it for you niggas. They're doing it for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And you think that little bit of money you making on the street is the money. Baby, the money they making behind the scenes. So what y'all call free flowing money is a release on regulations. They don't like regulations because it makes them make more money. Well, what kind of regulations will we be talking about? EPA regulations, the FDA regulations, all the things that put rules into place to say we need to check that meat. You can't be releasing all these toxins in the environment. You got to do this. You got to walk within these protocols. White people don't like that stuff. The business owners don't like those regulations because they have to pay out more to run their business.
Right.
But if you tell them, oh, it ain't no regulations, you can do whatever you want to do. That's how they end up dumping shit in streams and ponds in small back towns and people get sick.
Mm-hmm.
Once regulations are relieved, they can do whatever they want to do. It's like the Wild Wild West out there. But y'all, oh yeah, the money be flowing when the Republicans, nigga, you 50. Are you still selling dope? Is that what you're telling me at 50?
Right.
At 55?
Because the wages and nothing ain't going up. Right.
Baby, go get you a sanitation job. Like, you can't be still out here. Go get you a barber certificate. Because you're not going to get me to believe that you, or are you just saying it because it's a talking point?
It's a talking point.
Are you really in the street making money? Because that's something I expect from a little 25-year-old boy, a 30-year-old man to say. But for you to be 50 and talking about the money is flowing when the regulation, dude, come on now. You can't be talking about street money. Now this
yeah,
and you don't own a business. So what money what free flowing money are you talking about? I'm just curious.
Yeah.
What money are you saying?
Girl, I don't know, but it's just
child.
and that and the reason why I brought that up first was because it's just like, and and let me because people get in their feelings, and I get it. I'm not calling all black men pathetic, of course not. But the one, you know who you are. So,
About
don't,
70%.
yeah, about 70%. Let's keep it real,
It's
you
about
know.
70% of them.
Yeah. And, you dogging her and you trying to get, and then there are some black women that are jumping on board with them saying, yeah, I don't like this. I don't want a woman president. I'm a black woman. I don't want a woman as a president, things like that. Okay. I mean, what do you,
Listen, I am a Christian Bible believing woman.
mm-hmm.
I believe in order. I believe in order in the home. And as crazy as I talk, people would be shocked to know how traditional I really am.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in my man being in charge.
Mm-hmm.
I want my husband to tell me what to do. That's my business. That's just what I like,
Right.
because I
Come
don't
on,
want to have to do
business.
everything.
Yeah,
I,
yeah,
I, I
yeah.
don't want to. I don't want to have to use my brain all the time.
Right.
So I do want a man who can sit back and say, "Hey, here, do this, do this, do that. All right,
Mm-hmm.
you got it. You ain't gonna get no fuss out of me."
Right.
But the way you live in your home, I don't know if I resonated to the country.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you guys, I'm big on this is people being stupid.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what it comes down to, really.
It really burns, and I try my best.
Mm.
I try my best to be kind to idiots. I try my best not to call people stupid when they're really dumb. And I don't feel, you know what I don't feel comfortable with? You don't feel comfortable having a woman president. I don't feel comfortable with someone who has a second grade reading level having the codes to nuclear weapons.
Listen,
I don't think I slept well for the 4 years that he was
I
president.
mean, they're so focused on Kamala and trying to dog her, but have y'all been listening to the things that people who were in the situation room with him, who were in the office with him, who were in these meetings, big meet like this is with I hate calling him that, but he was the president of the United States, and the things that he did. And not only that, the things he is openly saying. Do you think that if he can, if he gets elected and he's going to unleash the police on not white people, on you niggas first?
Just
Are you
and you
listening to those
guys,
things?
I did, I mean, no one's even when he speaks. Let's just take let's just take the presidency. Let's take all this stuff away. If you were sitting with him at dinner,
Mm-hmm.
and he was talking the way that he talks, wouldn't he be the person at the table that you would be looking at the other people going, "What the hell is going?"
Exactly.
You know how you in a room with that one person that be like, are they a little, is something going on with them? And now everybody else is looking at each other like, what's going on here?
Right.
You telling me that you don't feel like he's that person,
Mm-hmm.
and you feel comfortable with him being the president again? Like,
Again.
you feel comfortable with that? And then not even him, but the people that he picked for his cabinet to
Listen.
run the offices. Like, people who had no experience. Like, y'all feel comfortable with that? That's the part that's weird to me.
Very
Because
weird.
so that means you have no knowledge.
None.
Even before he came around, you didn't ever read a book about the presidency.
Mm-mm.
You never watched a documentary. You know the people who really make my backside itch? It's the people who keep saying, I don't like her policies,
Girl.
and she this baby. What they say, I'ma hold your hand when I tell
Yeah.
you. The vice president of the United States doesn't have one policy.
Not a
And I
single one.
want you all to stop saying that. The vice president of the United States presides over the Senate. Do you know? Is it the Senate or the House?
It's the
Fact.
Senate. I think it's the Senate. I think it's the Senate. Yeah.
Presides over the
They
Senate.
got me all stupid, confused. Confused. I'm
And do you
confused.
know what her job is, or excuse me, what the job is of the vice president? If there is a tie on the floor, the vice president gets a vote and they break the tie.
That's where the policy comes in at, and it's not even her policy.
That's all they
That's it.
do.
That's it.
That is their one singular job.
And do you know how many policies
And
that
it
she
has
has
been,
broke?
and I
How
just
many
want to say,
times?
it has been this way since George Washington.
Listen.
So the fact that y'all have the nerve and the gall to scream you don't like her policies, baby, your stupidity brings tears to my eyes. That's the part that's concerning to me. And every day I find myself about to say, oh, they need to give out a reading test for voting.
Girl, no,
But
let
I'm
me
like, oh, we can't do that because they had to outlaw that when they start letting black people vote. Like, we
listen.
got to figure out a way that educated people are allowed to vote because this is getting crazy now.
It is. But let me tell you, I got one to top you right here. So when she first, when Biden basically nominated her, said, you're taking my place, baby girl, you go, when he first
Right.
came out and did that. This fool that we both know, and when I start talking, you'll probably realize who it is.
Oh, Lord, I'm scared.
So he got on there, and of course, he was dogging Kamala. Of course, black man, of course, dogging Kamala. And somebody came in the in his comments, black woman came in the comments and was like, what do you have against her? Like you've been dogging her since, she basically became the front runner or whatever. Since and he said, what did he say? He just went on talking about how, he can't stand her and how she's just ridiculous and all this other. Then, of course, he started talking about her policies are whack and everything like that. She was trying to educate him. I give it to her. The girl in the comments was trying to educate him. And then like at the end, she said, that she doesn't have any policies, that she's the vice president. So this fool comes back. And this just let me know that I'm not even going, because I was going to comment. But I haven't commented on any of his stuff since,
Please direct me to the page when we get off of here.
I
Because
will.
I would love to go in those comments.
Okay, I will. So he came in the comments and his reply was, well, since she took over the nomination, she wasn't even nominated yet. This is just when she took over for Biden for that, She wasn't even the nominee yet. He said, since she's the nominee, since she took over the Democratic nomination, now she's the acting president.
Do you see?
You see what I'm saying? You see why it's not even worth arguing with you niggas.
Oh my God.
And he was so serious. And then the girl, she didn't even she was probably like me, the person, and she was just like, she just did like a, That was her reply.
I don't care if it's been a month. If I find that post, I'm going under it and I'm going to say, what?
Girl, listen.
Oh my God. And it's like, I'm about to say it again.
Mm-hmm.
They need a reading test.
Listen.
But I know that some of that stuff will put black people, out of the ability to vote. And so that's why I'm very careful, about some stuff, thinking those things or saying those things. I don't want them to come to pass, but you guys, you don't have a basic civics like that guy who got on and was like, anybody who had a high school civics class knows what the job of the vice president is. And I've been over here, my super educated self.
Okay.
I've been over here like, somebody help me. Somebody help. Somebody help. And I'm just like, I can't believe, but I know I say, Keisha, they don't know.
Right.
They don't know. I got a whole political science degree, and I be just thinking like, what in the world is happening to y'all?
Listen,
what is happening?
It's crazy.
Like, y'all don't know that? See how I just almost spazzed out? And in the age of Google?
That Google is your friend. Let me tell you. Our auntie Google is your friend, okay?
We didn't, and then y'all extra crispy dumb too, because we didn't have Google. We had to search and get encyclopedias.
Yes.
Y'all scared of books.
Listen,
see,
girl,
that's another problem.
I saw I was going to repost it, but I think I may have dozed off or something and I lost it. But there was this morning there was a meme that came up or a video that came up, and it was from the 80s. It's one of them old ass computers that we had in elementary school. And this guy, he was on it. He was like, this isn't going to help me study or something like that. So it was an Encyclopedia Britannica commercial. That's what it is. So it was basically saying the computer's not going to help you. you use these to help you study, you know, but look how it's changed. Now that damn encyclopedia is on the computer. We didn't have that. We had to go to them encyclopedias or dictionaries or books, books, period. We had to actually research stuff.
Multiple books.
Yeah. So we know who the ones were who weren't researching and studying in school. We know because it hasn't carried on into your adulthood. Either that or you're just so full of yourself, which I think this person is.
I'm going to say something that's going to be controversial and it's going to be offensive to some people.
Please.
Everybody take a deep breath and hold on. I am completely for the American Disabilities Act. But being an adult, I am definitely seeing who was in the carpeted rooms in high school. Like, remember how they used to keep the paper up to protect their identity?
Girl.
The paper has now fallen.
It's fallen.
And we have mixed among them.
Listen.
And now I see why y'all was in that room.
Yeah. Yeah.
I see it. And completely. I'm not saying that with an ounce of, I'm not making a joke about it.
No. Like, this is real.
I'm being serious. It is quite evident why they didn't want us with y'all.
Listen.
Because now you are out in the world voting and saying some of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard people say in my life.
Yeah.
And this is why I try to handle people with kid gloves.
You have to.
Because I know that everybody's mental state is not on the same level. It's really disturbing, though.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's disturbing. You know, at some points, I'm just listening to people and I'm just going, what in the entire world are we in? Are we in the Matrix for real? I ain't never watched a Matrix movie that day in my life, but this is probably what it felt like.
Not even the first one. Now that's I've seen
none of them.
Girl, you got to see the first one at least. Now I will say that wasn't a fan of none of the other ones, but yeah. But anyway,
I'm watching, but this must be what it feel like.
Girl.
When the white girls with all the crystals be saying is that Mercury's in retrograde. This is what it feels like.
This is what it is.
It's this right here that we're living in.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is atrocious. For a thinking person who has an education, this is atrocious.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Yeah.
Like, honestly.
It is.
And to see people, oh yeah, I like him. And they only like him because he's racist.
That's it.
They're not going to say that. They're going to, you know, and listen, we got to understand a lot of black people hate black people too.
Oh yeah.
So they only applaud him because he's racist.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if the character Uncle Remus, is that what his name is?
Ruckus.
Uncle Ruckus. I wonder if Uncle Ruckus is made off of Clarence Thomas. Because they said they look alike.
They do. They really do look alike. You know what the crazy thing is? As much as a huge fan of the Boondocks I was, I never thought about that. But that is.
And I just because I was sitting here saying like black people who hate black people, immediately Clarence Thomas popped into my head.
Right.
Because watching that documentary about him, really opened my eyes to how much he hates himself.
Yes.
And honestly, men like that definitely need a black woman.
Mm-hmm.
And not to say, of course, you know, I hate when, you know, men get in a relationship with a woman and turn her into his therapist. But he needed genuine love from a black woman at a young age.
Yeah. You
know, but he is the definition of what Charlemagne says. Clarence Thomas is a white ice is colder kind of black man.
Yes.
He believes that everything white people has is better than what a black man has. And that's really sad.
It is sad.
To hate
yourself.
Man. To be a black man from the South.
Mm-hmm.
To be a dark-skinned black man.
Yeah.
And to hate the skin that you are in. And I love dark-skinned black men.
Listen. Ain't nothing like some dark skin. I don't give a damn. As high yellow as I am, people may be like, whatever, but no.
Baby, let me say it. But to have beautiful black skin and to hate the skin that you're in, it's a tragedy.
Because that's a mental roadblock for yourself. It just for yourself, you know, just to hate the skin that you're in. You see, because you're the first and last thing you see.
Yeah.
So you had to wake up to that every day, and for you to hate who you are and how you look, I couldn't even imagine. I couldn't even put myself in that mindset. So
That's
yes.
terrible. And I never really explained the guy that I said I went to school with him, HBCU educated black man,
Mm-hmm.
and he had some of the most disrespectful things to say about Obama. And on this particular day, I just said, you know what? And we have this battle going back and forth all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Even about what I posted this morning about him getting on that Fox show saying that he wanted to defund the Department of Education and he
Oh
wanted to
yeah.
close it down.
Yeah.
And all I posted was, Are y'all hearing what he's saying?
Mm-hmm.
And of course he was in my inbox with a little 2 paragraphs of, did you watch the whole interview? Because I watched the interview. I don't care if you said roses, peaches, and cream, but every word. When you said this, I didn't like it.
No, because
I
that's
didn't
what
like it.
people are hearing. You could watch the whole interview, but that's what people are hearing.
So he said some very disrespectful things about Obama. And I said, let's stop.
Mm-hmm.
I said, let's take all of this away, that he was never the president, that none of these things. It is weird to me that you are a black man, that you see another successful black man,
Mm-hmm.
an educated black man, who is a husband to a beautiful black wife,
Mm-hmm.
who is fathering beautiful black children,
Mm-hmm.
and you hate that.
Yep.
There's something to be said about that.
Yeah.
That's a little weird.
It's very weird. I don't understand that.
That's all I said to him.
Mm-hmm.
This is strange.
Yeah. Because it becomes obsession, and it's like, why are you obsessed with hating somebody that much?
And what the old folks say, a hit dog gonna holler.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I said. And he was livid.
Because you spoke the truth.
He was livid.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm a black father, and
Lord.
and that's why it's weird.
Very weird, yeah.
From black man to black man, there's nothing in you that sees him and is like, yeah, that nigga, I like that. I'm proud.
Right.
He made me proud to be a black man.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't hear this man doing nothing disrespectful to his wife. He out in the open loving his black woman.
Every single time. He mentions her in every dang every dang speech, interview, whatever.
He's a black man that knows without his black wife, he wouldn't be where he is. He doesn't have a problem saying it.
Mm-hmm.
He has beautiful black daughters.
Yes.
That he's raising to be educated black women. What could, even if he was never the senator and never went on to be president, how could I see that man in his everyday life as an attorney and not be like, oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I like him. Like I like him. Y'all, so see, those are the people, when y'all see other black people get rich and y'all see other black people having fame, and just because you don't agree with one thing about them, you hate their whole lives. Yep. You are weird.
Mm-hmm.
Let me be the first to tell you weird.
Weird. It's very weird.
Strange behavior.
Mm-hmm.
It's strange. I think it's strange for what did Don Cornelius say? He thinks it's a sin for any black person to speak ill of another black person. He said, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to respond to it.
And never did.
Somebody was talking bad about him and about what he was doing with Soul Train. And the interviewer was trying to get him to respond. He said, I think it's a sin when one black person talk. He said, and I'm not going to even respond. I mean, I wish we could get a lot more of that in us.
Yes. I've been saying that for so long.
Even if I don't agree with you or don't agree with your policies or don't agree, I'm not going to speak ill of you because you're black.
Mm-hmm.
I think we forget we tied to each other by this skin.
Exactly.
By that continent.
That's it.
I don't think, even when the diaspora, I don't know how you say that word. I don't
diaspora.
Think, diaspora. When the diaspora wars was going on with people from, from Jamaica or from the West Indies, like, baby, let's hold on. Everybody stop.
Right.
All y'all came off the continent of Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Every single one of us. Everybody's boat ported in different places.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're forgetting that. I think we need to all go back to the old landmark.
Listen.
As the old Baptist song says.
Okay.
Let us all go back to the old landmark, honey. We all came from that continent. Everybody's boat left from that continent. Everybody's boat ported in different places. Some boats came to the Americas. Some boats went to Cuba. Some boats went to Spain. Some boats went to Britain. The boats went all over.
All over.
All over. We all still the same kinfolk.
At the
so
end of the
y'all
day.
be on the internet arguing about that, and it is so confusing. There we go again. Are we all forgetting our history? Everybody? Did y'all go to school?
I don't think so. If they did, they weren't paying attention.
What was they teaching y'all?
And then they trying to take what we did learn, which all wasn't factual, and it all wasn't, everything that we should have learned. They're trying to take that out of school, and y'all ain't paying attention to that.
If you are a Black person in Jamaica, how do you think you got there?
Right. You didn't just magically appear.
I mean, if you are a Black person in the UK, how do you think you got there? I'm just curious what y'all think.
Right.
If you are a Black person in France, how do you think you got there? You cannot be. Here I go. Let me back up. You cannot be that. You can't be that stupid.
Yeah.
You can't. I'm not gonna believe. Because I feel like Black people in the UK have some of the richest connections to their roots. You are not any better than a person who's in America.
Right.
You're just not. Your boat took a right and our boat took a left.
That's it.
It's the only difference between us. Our boat went out, stayed true, and your boat did a sharp right.
That's it.
It's no difference.
It's not. But just like I always say, Black people we're our own worst enemy.
You just speak the King's English because you took that right. We speak whatever this is English.
Exactly.
You speak the regular English.
Come on, whatever this is.
Out.
Yeah.
I don't know what y'all see, but I feel like we all the same people. I don't know why y'all don't know that, but whatever.
Girl.
It's rough out here in these African American streets.
It is. It really is. And some of y'all just make it even more hard.
So much.
I mean, it's bad. It's bad. Whew. All right. So, of course, we'll have more to say, coming up on this election, after the election, definitely, however the outcome is, because it's going to be some BS either way.
Yeah.
So, finally,
Lord,
this is going to be a multi.
Let me brace myself.
Girl, this is going to be a multi-episode topic itself. But let's just get into now. When we left off last time, we talked about Diddy because because
it's been going on.
It's been going
First
on.
It started with Cassie.
Yeah. So
first it started with Cassie, and then it just kind of bloomed into this. And to tell the truth, I'm gonna let you talk about it because I have the exact same position I had when Cassie's story came out.
Yeah.
And my position has always been, this is a lot more to do with his sexuality and his sexual preferences and his sexual kinks than it has to do with actual, and I know y'all about to beat me up for this, that it has to do with I don't want to say physical harm, but we have to understand that Whitney Houston said it best, I work in the business of sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And that's what we don't, first of all, because behind that curtain, it ain't made for public eyes.
Right.
What rich people do, that ain't made for us to look at, truthfully. They like to have their parties behind,
That's why they were private.
Exactly. Because we will never understand those things because we don't live in the life that they live. I will never understand. Listen, because it's broke people out here doing it. I will never be able to understand how you can coerce people I don't care how much drugs you give them to have sex with 52 people at one time. Listen,
Mm.
but it ain't for me to understand because it's
Mm.
not a life I want to participate in.
Right. That's where I stop right there. I'm
So
just like, okay, maybe it ain't meant for me to understand.
yeah, it's not
Yeah.
meant for me to understand it. So I get the outrage, but I'm going to keep saying it. And people who are cheering it on and who like, yeah, 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 you better pay attention to what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
This man, it seems to be, is having sex with women and having sex with men.
Mm-hmm.
And this country, that is what they're attacking in my eyes, from where I sit.
Because what's
Yes,
coming out now about the
yeah.
men, and also there have been some, I don't know if they're underage boys or girls. I think there was like one girl that said she was like 16 or something like that.
Why
But
was you at that party? I'm gonna say the same thing I said about when R.
I
Kelly happened. Where do
mean,
y'all's mamas be, and why you at that party?
right. Because
We making it uncomfortable for celebrities, honestly, because now they gonna start checking IDs. They gonna start keeping. It's gonna be like it was back in the day. Can't nobody get in them parties.
right. I mean, because listen, Diddy told y'all who he was years ago. He said, and I'm not taking up for him, of course not, but he said he parties.
Yeah.
He said when his first son Justin was born that he had to party. He said he tag, what's her? Oh my gosh, what's
Misa.
her? Misa. She called.
Misa.
Yeah, Misa called him and was like, when are you coming home? Like I'm here with this baby, whatever. It's like the first night or second night when they were home with Justin. And he said he had to get his boys together and party. Regardless of what was going on at that party, that's their business.
Right.
But Diddy's always been about a party. Bow Wow came out and said that, the BET Hip Hop Awards took place and, his presence was missed because of his parties.
Oh yeah.
They love to
Hip-hop
party.
is gonna change, yeah.
Oh, it's
That's
going to change
what
a
they
lot.
do, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
That is what they do.
So everybody else was scared to have a party, basically.
And see, now that's what we're turning it into.
Mm-hmm.
That is the culture that is becoming.
Yeah.
Because we have, first problem is this: Instagram has made celebrities too attainable to regular people.
Mm-hmm.
They have too much access to them.
Right.
And now you have a situation where the regular people, and on top of that, we live in this new society where regular people think it's their business.
Yeah.
What famous people do behind closed doors, it's not none of our business.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why they keep us out of their business.
Right.
Because they like to do certain stuff that you shouldn't be doing that.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do this. Because now, I hate to say this, and y'all finna be mad at me again. Do y'all really believe in? Y'all be believing all them stories when all them people be coming out after the first people on the first suit? I'll be like, okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
But then when it start getting up to being 50 and 100, y'all, I don't be believing them people after a certain point.
Yeah,
because now everybody sees it's a piece of the pie.
Yeah.
I can get in. They can't prove. How they gonna prove it? Mm-hmm. He was so high. How he know who was there?
Right.
Who wasn't there?
Right.
So they just gonna pay the suits out.
Mm-hmm.
Of course they are.
Yeah. That's it.
Like it's a mess now. Like it's a mess. It has really changed.
It's gotten way out of control. I mean, and the thing about it was, like, they said that there were other celebrities involved and eventually they are going to name them, whatever. And I remember the interview which I thought was a very good interview with on Club Shay Shay with Shannon Sharp, and when he interviewed Marlon Wayans. I love that interview. And I think it was like last month or something, or earlier this month. Yeah. But but of course, this was when all the stuff came out, like not long after Diddy was arrested and, charged and all that stuff and put in jail. He asked, Shannon asked Marlon, has he ever been to a Diddy party? And he was like, of course, he's like, everybody been to a Diddy party. He said, but you knew at a certain time, if you weren't down for that stuff, it was time to go.
See, and there's my thing right there.
Mm-hmm.
If I give a disclaimer and I tell you it's getting ready to go left.
Right.
And you still sit here, I struggle with this.
Mm-hmm.
And see, we grew up in an era, I don't be feeling, no kind of way about none of this stuff, because we grew up in an era where we recognize hoes as hoes.
Yeah.
And we knew hoes got treated a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
you know, no disrespect, Cassie, but you was a hoe.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we knew that y'all liked certain stuff, y'all hung around certain artists, and you did the things because you participated in all that stuff he wanted to do.
Right.
And men used to treat hoes as such and keep their women put up. Misa,
Mm-hmm.
she was put up, she was
Yep.
kept.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can tell the difference when you see them hoes hanging. See, what's the girl named Superhead hanging around?
Mm-hmm.
Shawnee was put up.
You know it's about to go
Let's,
down.
let's show a difference. Like, see, but now we have come into this era where hoes think they should be supposed to be treated like real women. I would never.
Listen.
You would never, and I'm a woman. You would never have to worry about me giving you hoes no respect. And if you
Mm-hmm.
be mad,
Be
that's
mad.
on
I mean, it's just that's just how we grew up. We knew what it was. You know.
and you knew what it was when you
Mm-hmm.
went over there.
Yeah.
You knew what that man wanted.
Mm-hmm.
You knew what was getting ready to take place. So for y'all to be out here, and I'm gonna keep saying it, letting Amber Rose convince y'all that hoes is supposed to be treated like ladies. No,
Mm-hmm.
because ladies work hard to keep their reputation intact.
Yeah. Let's take it
Ladies,
back. Let's take it back to the 90s. Not to cut you off, but let's
no, you fine.
so say like we in let's go back to 11th grade.
Mhm.
Somebody was having somebody was having a little party, a little quote unquote, we called them sets back in the day. So we chilling, doing whatever, you know, everybody hanging out, having a good time. You know, there may have been some smoke there, there may have been some drink, whatever. You know, we doing
Right.
what we do. Once that slow music gets to playing,
Get out.
you out. If you ain't down for the slow music and you know what's getting ready to go down with the slow music and them lights get low, you knew it was time to go. Danielle
get
was
out.
gone. Yeah, so
Get out because
get
now
out.
the couples is finna link up.
Exactly.
Everybody who been in here dancing and rubbing up against each other, getting
Mhm.
ready to rub for real.
Baby,
Get out.
listen. So it's the same thing. It's like that's how his parties were ran. He ran them like the sets back in the day. It was like we all going to
Yes.
party. We gonna have a good time. You know you're gonna have a good time at a
But
Diddy
after a
party.
certain period of time, it's
Listen.
gonna be a lot of rubbing going on.
Mm-hmm.
Get out.
Yep. And that's what a lot of
Like,
the celebrities are saying. They said they knew, they didn't know what was going on. They may have heard some things, whatever, but they weren't there. So,
but they
you
were
know,
aware when it was time to exit.
exactly. Yep. And just like we
They knew
knew,
that.
yeah, what was going on after, you know, the lights went down low and the slow music started getting to playing. We knew what was getting ready to go down, but if you weren't there, I don't know what the hell happened.
Yep. Yep. So
Child.
that's why I just don't, all of this stuff is like foreign and weird to us.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why? I'm gonna keep saying the word hoe. Why are hoes acting like it's weird? Like, it's just a
Mm-hmm.
weird thing to see hoes say, "Oh, I was treated like." Well, that's what you went over there for. What did you go over there for?
Right.
I felt the same way about Bill Cosby.
Uh-huh.
When
You-
that whole stuff came out and they was at the trial talking about, she said, "Oh well, he didn't make me take it.
Mm-hmm.
I took it myself." We're like, well, wait a second.
Right.
Hold on 1 second. You knew that man had a wife.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like anytime you are in the presence of a man that you know he got a wife, and it's a late night and you at his house and his wife ain't there, baby, what you think?
You know what's getting ready to go down. He ain't
What
invite you
think
over
he
to
brought
chit
you over
chat.
here for?
Yeah.
He could have met you in a public place for all that.
Mm-hmm.
He brought you here for a reason. And you came over for a reason. It just, that's,
It's a lot. Yeah.
It's disgusting.
And
But we'll see how it unfolds because they talk
yeah.
about they got him on suicide watch.
Girl, suicide watch, and then they're still finding new evidence and stuff like that. And you know, now they said the damn baby oil was laced with some date rape drug, and you know all this other stuff that was. And I'm just like, and at first I was like, that can't be true, but they're saying that it was true. I don't. Yeah. So I was just like,
let me say this: I don't know if it is, but it's a possibility.
Yeah, it's a possibility. Yeah. Because at first I was like, how does that happen? Then I was like, okay, yeah, I can get how to. Yeah.
It's a possibility that you can. Just like with hemp oil,
mm-hmm.
like you can rub that on people and
mm-hmm.
it can give you a certain effect.
Right.
There are certain drugs that you can rub on your skin.
Yeah, that'll give you that same effect. Yeah.
That same effect,
mm-hmm. So it's just
But again, y'all knew what it was. Is the drug illegal?
Yeah.
See, here's the question: is
Hmm.
drug illegal?
Yeah, it's illegal. Yeah.
Well, then that's his real
Yeah,
problem.
that's why, and that's the thing. It's just like you said at the beginning, it's it's mainly about the sexuality
Oh
because
yeah, yeah. I
they
don't care
were
what they say.
yeah, they were cool with just settling and not really, of course they were going to make him an example, and like when the Cassie video and all that stuff came out, of course they're going to put that out there.
Yeah, they was cool on him beating Cassie's ass.
Yeah, they were cool
They
on
was
that.
cool on him paying her. Okay, it was cool.
But
Now
then
she brought up some situations that, oh, he took me here, he took me there. But to me, this is just me personally.
hmm
Everybody knows this here. I have said it. To me, she became not credible the
hmm
moment she said in that, because I read it,
right.
and she said that she was there because of who he was,
Yeah, she did
because
say that.
she received a certain lifestyle. She
hmm
liked the power that he possessed, and she liked the gifts that he got.
hmm
So I feel like there's a trade-off
yeah.
when you want certain things and you desire this lifestyle and you see what the cost is and you say, look, I'm willing to pay the price. Because mind you, he was with her for what, 10 years?
Yeah, it was 10 years.
So for 10 years, you endured this just to have material things.
hmm
Listen, what do you want us to say?
right.
I feel the same way when black people go into white people neighborhoods and establishments and they get treated badly or they
hmm
get bad service from white people. What exactly do you want us to say here?
right.
You didn't expect that going in?
hmm
What did you think was gonna happen?
exactly.
Like I don't really, and I'm being dead
Yeah,
serious.
no, I
I
get it.
don't know how we are supposed to respond in
hmm
situations like that.
and let
What
me
are you expecting from us?
right, and let me say this, like for like what we're going to discuss on this podcast are things that, now of course we're going to give our opinion on stuff,
Hmm.
but what we're going to discuss are things that we've actually, like she said, she read what
Oh
happened with
yeah, I
Cass.
read it.
Yeah,
Hmm.
so those were Cassie's words.
Yeah, she said
So
that.
yeah, so those are things that we're going to talk about. All this stuff, like, I mean, yeah, we may mention like this old bodyguard came out and said this or that, whatever, that may get mentioned, but we're not giving too much energy into stuff like that because all that stuff is
It's hearsay.
hearsay. and
Yeah.
and like you said earlier, now people, when one person comes out, another person comes out, then another
Yeah.
person, it's just like, and that's why, like, people, like we mentioned earlier when I talked about Lord Jamar, that's why he's being asked these questions, because he's been in the business. Most likely
Right.
he knows Diddy. They were probably trying to get him into something, or they know that he'll just say whatever.
Right. Like
You,
Jaguar.
yeah,
Yeah. Another day. Another day. Another day. Another day. Just not
yeah,
today.
because
Another day.
we're at the end right now. But that's the approach that we take about stuff like this. We're going to
Yeah.
give our opinion, but we're not just going to be out here just spewing
No, we're gonna
hearsay.
be
Yeah,
what the facts are. What are the
yeah.
facts?
So if you're
What
one,
actually was said? What
yeah,
happened? What was documented?
exactly. So we're going to talk in facts, and and the facts are what is legally been put out there.
Yeah.
So we're gonna say some bullshit. You know me, I'm ignorant. I'm gonna say something stupid every now and then and refer to something that may not be true, but it's lighthearted. It's not. It's to make light of the situation,
Right.
because there's some serious shit going on for real.
Yeah,
And
it is.
at the beginning, middle, and end of the day, this is serious.
It
So,
is.
regardless of everything that's being said, or even a percentage of the stuff that's being said has really gone down, it's
Yeah.
it's serious. So I just want to put that out there that people probably would listen to this and be like, well, why didn't y'all talk about who said this and who said that? Because it's hearsay. Most of the stuff that's being said is hearsay.
And stop inboxing this shit to me because I really don't care. Girl, if you know how many Diddy inboxes I get in a day, and I just want y'all to stop sending it to me because I don't care. And I don't watch none of it.
Yeah.
I ain't watched it since it first started happening. I don't care.
Yeah,
I
I really
don't.
haven't. That's why, it's just like, I'll, like, if something comes out where it's like, okay, this document was said, or this happened, like the baby oil shit, I actually had to look into that, because like I said, I was like, how the hell does that happen? But
Right.
that makes sense. Like once I read it, I was like, oh yeah, if you could do this with that oil, or yeah, you could
I
do,
don't
yeah.
care. Like I
Yeah.
just I don't. Like just
Girl,
like because see, we live in a society that has no personal accountability,
none.
and we're always looking for it to be somebody else's fault.
Mm-hmm.
And what we have here is a man who's I kind of give the example of when the people was riding around with the candy in the vans and trying to coerce your children
Mm-hmm.
get in the back of the van.
Yeah.
It's like here he is coercing people with parties.
Mm-hmm.
You have a personal decision to make.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to go or do you get away from there?
Right.
You personally decided on multiple occasions to go.
Yep. And you know what goes down. I'm
And
gonna
there's
stand on that
no
hill.
accountability
Yeah.
for you as a person to say, you don't even say it to yourself. I ain't had no business over there. When I
Mm-hmm.
went the first time and seen how crazy it was, I ain't had no business going back. And I
Right.
kept going and kept going and kept going.
Mm-hmm.
We always want to make it somebody else's
Oh, of
fault.
course.
We never ever look at ourselves and say, hey, you did this.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have no business over there. I said it about the people who was involved in the R. Kelly situation. We are talking about 13 and 14-year-old girls being permitted by their parents to go with a grown man.
Mm-hmm.
So ain't nobody gonna look at the parents and say, what the hell is wrong with y'all?
And not only a grown man, but a
Nobody.
grown man that already had a reputation, regardless if you wanted to believe it or not. He already had a reputation at that point. So
Like
it's like,
here
where the
is a
hell are the
grown man
parents?
who's a rumor that he's married a 16-year-old girl,
Mm-hmm.
and you would let your 13-year-old and 14-year-old daughter be alone with him.
Right.
I mean, I that whole R. Kelly documentary just made me think more and more. Oh, these parents are sick.
Mm-hmm.
You see, but see, you were so hungry for your daughter to be
Yep.
famous
So you could
that,
get a piece of it. That's what it comes down to.
and it just again that is a lack of personal accountability.
Mm-hmm.
You put your daughter out there like a worm on a hook,
Yeah.
and now when it went bad, and instead of you catching the fish caught your child,
That's it.
and now you mad. I just that's your fault as a parent.
Yep.
I know people don't want to hear that.
They don't want to
Oh,
hear
but
it.
he shouldn't have did that. He should see. I'm a person who gives grace across the board.
Mm-hmm.
I do because I look at R. Kelly and I say somebody violated him as a child terribly, terribly,
Mm-hmm.
and we know that to be a
Yeah.
fact.
Yeah.
So it's like, no, you can't excuse the behavior. You can't. But he needs more mental health than incarceration.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the country we live in. Thank you, Kennedys. Okay,
Listen.
I'm done. That's a whole nother day. Well,
That's a
you
whole
know
nother
what?
day.
This was lovely.
Yes, it
This is
was.
glad.
So good to be back. We got right
So
back in the
glad to be
swing of
back with
things.
you. We
Yes.
did.
Yes.
I'm gonna say it again. Look at what the Lord did.
Baby.
Because I didn't think we was gonna make it.
You know what? For a minute, I was like, okay. I was like,
Because the
we're going.
rest felt so
It
good.
did. It did. It felt
That's what it
good not
was.
having, that
Yeah.
response. Because I wasn't even, which this isn't no surprise because I've gone a long time without doing my solo ones too. But that was another thing that got me into it was I wanted to do like every October I do a haunted Columbus podcast on my true crime one. So I
Mm-hmm.
was like, so I was just looking up stuff. I was like, well, if I do this, I do that. And I was like, I kind of miss doing this, like, getting the show
Yeah.
together. And so we talked the other day and I was just like, I'm ready,
Yeah. And
so.
I left because I think we both needed a break,
Mm-hmm.
but I knew that you needed the break.
Mm-hmm.
And I could feel it,
Yeah, you did say that. You were
I
like, I
could
knew something.
feel,
Yeah.
I could, and they hear us talk here, but she is my friend. Like I
Mm-hmm.
talk to her on
Right.
the phone outside of here, and she was, she needed a moment,
Mm-hmm.
and I could feel it. So I've been ready, truthfully,
Yeah.
but I never would bring it up to you because when you really are friends and you really are caring for people, you have to really give people the space to heal however they feel.
Yes.
Whatever they're going through, you have to give people a moment. And
Mm-hmm.
so I knew you needed time to like take a breath.
Yeah.
And people don't know, and I would give her flowers publicly. She the one be doing all this like electronic shit. I don't be doing that. She be doing that. I just bring my talents,
Right,
okay?
that's it. That's all we need from you, baby. That's all we need.
I just bring my talent. Baby
Okay.
behind the scenes flipping switches and I don't know what's going on. You better not ask me nothing. Okay? I'm doing good to work my cell phone. So, baby, she doing the work. So I gotta give her all the space in the world to rejuvenate herself because she working. She working on this podcast, posting it here, doing this. She got 2 podcasts of her own that she run. Look, she needed time, and we had to give
Yeah.
it to her.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
No problem, honey. No problem.
Yeah.
Well, as we always say, you go first.
Okay. Well, thank you all for tuning in. Of course, we are back. Now it's the end of the year, and we usually do take breaks at the end of the year, but we're going to try to wing it, because the holidays and stuff like that. But since we're back, so
Yeah.
we're going to, like if something comes up, like a birthday
We'll
weekend
probably
or
take the
whatever.
week of Thanksgiving off. We'll
Yeah,
probably
like
take your
yeah.
birthday
Yeah, we're going to
and
come,
Christmas.
yeah. So we're just going to be back on our quote unquote normal schedule, but
Yes.
like so we'll be doing shows throughout the rest of the year except for here and there. And then we'll start season 6 at the beginning of the year, so we ain't going nowhere. So on behalf of myself and Keisha, I want to thank you all for tuning in, and you can go ahead and
Yes.
close us out, sis.
Okay. Always remember you can reach us at girl_what on Instagram at DannieBSpeaks. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's
And
been a while.
don't worry about where you can find me. You just if you don't know, then you don't know. So we'll figure it out in between. But as
Exactly.
usual, we want to thank you all. We want you to have a blessed week. Do something for yourself to make you feel good. Do something for somebody else to make them feel good. And as always, we'll see you next week. Bye bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.